to talk more on the future of China, inflation, and the yuan. We have Tomo Kinoshita, who is the Deputy Head of Asia Economics at Nomura International, joining us on the program this morning. Good to see you once again.
Thank you very much.
Kinoshita-san. First off, let's start with inflation, since we talked about Malaysian inflation, and we talked about Hong Kong inflation. Most of this inflation pressure from Hong Kong coming off the back of the mainland. So what does that say when prices are rising 5.3% here in the city? What does that mean for the mainland itself?
Well, I think that the inflation pressures in mainland probably have peaked already in June, because we had a 6.4% inflation rate CPI level. But still, we think that the level of inflation is likely to stay high. The 2 to 3% inflation rate is a thing in the past, and now the wage is increasing very rapidly, and then that we have to face with a new reality.
Yeah, a new reality indeed. We have the Star Ferry going up by 4 cents.
Yes,
we have taxi fares higher by maybe $2 Hong Kong here in Hong Kong. So everyone's feeling that pinch of inflation. In the mainland, are we going to see 5% inflation continuing for a while, do you think?
Well, we are expecting 5.2% inflation rate this year, but we think it is going to drop to 4.8% next year. But still, I think it's going to be still above 4%. I think it's maybe we need to change the way we look at the China's inflation. 4% target by Chinese government is a very, very hard target to achieve. So that's something we are looking at.
Well, didn't they have 3% targets before, I guess, this big impact coming from vegetable prices? What about the yuan itself? We have the yuan celebrating 6 years since being depegged from the U.S. dollar. I think I asked a guest this earlier on this morning, but do you think a higher inflation will be the deciding factor in allowing the yuan and its appreciation rate?
Well, I don't actually think so. Certainly, the higher yuan will help to tame inflation, but the impact is still quite limited. I believe that the motivation of Chinese authorities to allow the appreciation of yuan is to deal with the pressures from the U.S. And also other pressures. And then I think that as the U.S. is entering into a presidential election cycle, it is more difficult for China to handle this. So I think that China is likely to continue with the 5 to 6% appreciation of yuan against the yuan.
Yeah, so I think 6 years on, it's barely maybe 20%. It's appreciated since then. Some are saying that's been pretty disappointing, considering you saw 20% in 4 years, really, since depegging.
Yes, well, I would think that China had a very good progress, but and it actually really served the exporters well. The exporters now have the expectation of yuan appreciation about 5 to 6%, and then this kind of stabilizes the exporting community as sentiment.
Okay, there you go. Now